Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. In today's video, I wanted to talk about my Sailor collection and my experience with Sailor. I only have 9 Sailors, which is not a lot considering how many pins in general that I own. And I think it's because I just don't really know how I feel about them. I know how I feel about 3 of them. I know I really like 3 of them. But my first, I would say 5 or 6 or so, I didn't really bond with. I know Sailor is known for their feedback, but for me, I find them to be just scratchy. And I haven't done work on any of these nibs, but I've decided to do that, and I haven't done any work yet, so I'm gonna break away from this video at the end and do a little tweaking to them and then come back and see if my experience changed. But right now I'm going to go through each of these pins and talk about them and how I feel about them as they are right now. First, these are in order that I bought them. So the first is the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. This is the Shikiori Setsugetsu Soraha. So it's a beautiful pen. Wasn't very expensive. I think this one was about $88, and I said not expensive for a pen that comes with a 14 karat gold nib. It's very pretty light blue. It's a little bit more translucent here on the body than it is on the cap and the section, but there is a 14 karat gold nib, and this is a medium fine. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know I like fine. Fine and extra fines are my favorite. But the Sailor fine, it's a little different than the typical. So this is a Sailor Pro Gear Slim Shikiori Setsugetsu Soraha. And you know, this doesn't feel bad, but it does have some scratchiness, particularly in the cross strokes. So this is a medium fine 14 karat. I don't know if you can hear that. And I really like Sailors. I think they're very comfortable pens to own. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it a little better. So this is like the actual point, the fine point, the medium fine is perfect for me. But this one is not bad. It's just a borderline, a little bit too scratchy for me. It just needs a little bit of tweaking. I think this would be fine. So that's the Pro Gear Slim Shikiori. And I bought this one at the same time. This is the Sailor Pro Gear Imperial Black. So this is a full Pro Gear versus a Pro Gear Slim. So you can see the size difference. It's a little bit chunkier and a little bit longer. And this has one of my favorite looks on a pen. I love the dark trim and the matte finish. Just a beautiful pen. I mean, I love the look of Sailors. I love the flat tops. And the nibs are beautiful. It's a dark coated nib. This is also a gold nib. It's a 21 karat nib. So this is a Sailor Pro Gear, and this one is close, but it has just a tiny bit of scratchiness, but I think this can be fixed pretty easily. And this is a full-on fine 21 karat, and this is inked with Private Reserve Infinity Blue. The Shikiori was inked with just a Sailor cartridge. but I'm sure you can hear that. So I think this, like the Shikiori, just needs a little bit of tweaking. With them both, I find that they, if I press hard, they end up chewing up the paper sometimes. So I just want to smooth that out a little bit. I haven't written with most of these pens very much at all, so it's a shame that they're just sitting here not getting used because they're just a little bit too scratchy for me. Next is a fairly inexpensive offering. This is a steel nib pen. This is the Sailor. You can see it skipping, 1911. Profit Jr. or Profit Jr. And this is the Kurogane Demo. This is a medium fine steel. And again, the ink is a Sailor cartridge. Although it does have some skipping there, I like this. I like the way this writes. I just need to straighten out the skipping. But this, for me, this is perfect feedback here. And this is the medium fine steel nib. Just basic nib. And what I like about this actually has, this feed is actually clear. So you can see, you know, when you're cleaning it, how much longer you have before it's all the ink is gone. So I like that. I'm not too much of a fan of the bullet shape or cigar shape pens. I prefer the flat tops, but this pen writes pretty nicely. And this pen was $36 compared to, it's $221 for this and $85 for the, or $88 for the other. So next is another fairly inexpensive offering. I wrote the whole time off screen. Maybe I should zoom out. So that's the, sorry about that, that's the Sailor Profit. Next is the, this has probably been the worst experience. This is a Sailor Shikiori. This is the Tsukuyo-no-Minamo, Shimoyo, or Frosty Night. This is a fine steel. And the ink again is a Sailor cartridge. Now this is not bad, it's just the skipping. So I need to fix that. But other than that, I'm fine with the feedback on this. It's a nice Sailor steel nib. But that's the Sailor Shikiori Shimoyo. This was $49. And this is a limited edition. This is the Sailor Pro Gear Slim Blue-Green Nebula. Another nice flat top. Some nice sparkles in there. So this, now we're back to the gold nibs. This one feels pretty good. Pro Gear Slim. Has feedback, of course, but it's very nice. And this is a medium fine, 14 karat. And this is ink with Diamond Aurora Borealis. For me, this is just the perfect amount of feedback. So I don't think there'd be any tweaking of this one. I think this one is nice just the way it is. So that's the top, the first 4. You can see on my doodles how hard it was to get ink to come out of the Frosty Night, the Sailor Shikiori Frosty Night. I pretty much just gave up on that. Just a lot of skipping. It could be the ink, the cartridge. I'm not sure how long I've had that cartridge. So that's those. And the last 4 are a lot better. So this is the Tuzu. The Tuzu where you can change your grip. You can move this around so you can change your grip however you like. So, Sailor Tuzu. And this one is the broad. It's a steel nib. And this is inked with, you can see it's skipping as well. This is inked with Palette de Roshizuku, Kujaku. It's a broad, but it doesn't feel like a very, thick broad. It feels more like a medium. And aside from the skipping, I think this one is pretty good. I like the way it feels. These pens are very comfortable in my hand. So we have another Sailor Tuzu. I bought these at the same time. I think these are about $44, $45. Tuzu. And this is a medium steel nib. And this one is just about perfect. Well, it is perfect. No issues with this at all. Writes nicely in reverse. And this is inked with Tassia Sabi Midori. Very nice. Again, you can unscrew this, and then you unscrew this band. And for me, I thought that this would be a good idea since I write with both of my hands to change the grip. But then I realized I'm not really picky about the grip so much as I am picky about the slickness. It doesn't really matter too much about where my hand lands. It's more about the slickness. So, but that's a Tuzu. It has a plastic with some metal support in the clip. But basic resin body. I know they've come up with some new colors. But I think this medium, I'll show you the nib, is just about right. There's no issues with that one. And next, these last 2 are absolutely the best. Some of the best pens in my collection. These really changed my mind and made me want to go back to the others and say, hey, maybe you just need to tweak these a little bit. I didn't have to do anything to these. They came perfect out of the box. This is a Sailor 1911 large, and this version is the Ninja Tsuki. And it's a demo. You can't see through it. They have other versions that are solid black. But I decided to go with the demo version because it's a little different, and plus I just love the colors on this one. And this is a Maki-e pen. And it's a medium. There's a Sailor nib. I think Sailor has some of the prettiest nibs. So this is the Sailor. And this is quite a bit up in price compared to some of the others, but not, it wasn't $5, I think it was like $300. So $100 more than the Blue-Green Nebula and the Imperial. This is a medium 21 karat. Has some spring in it. And this also is inked with Private Iroshizuku Kujaku. Just beautiful, beautiful writer. Beautiful pen, although I don't really like the cigar shape, but I think in Maki-e pens, the cigar shape is probably the most attractive. But lots of work on that. Very pretty. And a beautiful wet writer. And my favorite of all the sailors is this Realo. I've been eyeing the Realo for some years, and I got it earlier in the year. I saw it on Amazon, and it was only $163, so I jumped on that. I think this is a Sailor's only piston filler, if I'm not mistaken. It is a piston filler with an ink window. And it's just black and gold, but there's something about the looks of this pen. The flat top, the ink window. I just love the way it looks. There's a 21 karat gold nib. And this one I had a little bit of a regret once I clicked, buy it or order. I was like, Terry, you're not gonna like that fine nib, based on my other experiences. But once I got it, I was really surprised at how nicely this fine nib writes. I just knew it was going to be scratchy, but I said, okay, just get it and do a little work to it. And I haven't had to do anything. And to help it along, I decided to ink it with one of my favorites. So this is Diamine Writer's Blood. It's been a permanent match. Just an excellent pen. And I carry this with me every day. The piston knob is solid. Everything is solid. And before I did this video, I cleaned out all of the ones that I hadn't been using, which were all of these down here. I cleaned all of these out. These were already inked just to give them a fair chance and make sure, they were video ready. But I still had some issues, as you can see, with some of these. You see how scratchy they are, how dry they are. And for some of these, it could be the Sailor ink cartridge. And you see how nicer the sheet is. And I also tried to write in my French transcriptions of the color purple, so that this Shikiori, I said it was terrible on this paper. This is Midori paper, and this is what is this? Black and red optic paper. And I just said it was terrible. I mean, there's no skipping, but again, the side strokes especially are just super dry. And for the Gear Imperial Black, I said it was not too bad. I think this just needs a little bit of tuning. The Kurogane Profit Jr., I said it was not bad. It's dry here. And on this paper, for the Shikiori Minamo, I said this was also not bad, but dry. I think this paper is a little coated, so the pens write a little bit smoother on this paper versus the Midori. And the Pro Gear Slim, yeah, this one was okay on this paper. You can see it's pretty smooth, no skipping. And the Sabi Midori and the Tuzu. I said this was nice here on this paper. So maybe the sailors are just better on this coated paper. And the black Tuzu. I'm sorry, I had this backwards. The Tuzu Black was fine, was nice. Again, this one was still skipping, so I need to figure out what's going on here. I have a frowny face. It is skippy. And then the Realo did very well. I have a nice and a heart there. And I did a whole page for the Ninja Tsuki back when I first got it. And you can see here that there are no issues throughout the whole page. No skipping or anything. So now I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to do a little tweaking to some of the troublemakers. I think this one's good. This one's good. And one of the Tsukis is good. I've already forgotten which one was good. The black one is good. So yeah, out of all of these, they all need a little bit of work. So I'm going to do that off camera and then come back and show you how it all worked out. So I'm back after doing a little tweaking. It actually didn't take that long. So this is my page of scribbles. It's just a series of, I would use either this pad here, which is used for guitar frets, has 8,000 grit on this side, and a very smooth polishing portion on this side. Or I would use some 1,000 grit sandpaper. Then I would use the brush sheet to clear out the tines. So we'll see how these worked. Again, I only had to do 6 out of the 9 only, but just to get them to my liking. Some people may be fine with that level of feedback. I think if they weren't, Sailor wouldn't be as successful a company as it is. But for me, it just needed a little bit of fine-tuning. So let's start with the Pro Gear Slim. So all I did with this was to run it across this a few times. And for me, this level of feedback is just a tiny bit more to my liking. Again, I didn't have to do much to this one. But you can see there, it's just a little bit darker. So I think this is okay. The Imperial, I didn't have to do much of this. I just ran this across this glossy side maybe twice. So this one was already in pretty good shape. Yeah, this one is really nice now. So I'm happy with this one. And the Profit was okay. Not too many complaints with this Profit. It does skip a little bit. And it may be the cap. It's really, my house is really dry. So maybe that's it. But this one feels pretty good now as well. Make sure it's tight. And the Shikiori. This was the one that was doing a lot of skipping, and it still is. But at least the writing feels a little better. There is audible feedback, but it feels pretty good. I think for these two I may need to take out the cartridge and use some ink in them with a converter. I do have 2 Sailor converters that I can put in those. Maybe something's off with the ink. But you can see even that looks better. Shikiori there. You see I could barely get anything out there, so it's a little better. Just that one hard start. I think they're all looking a little bit better. And let's see, the Nebula. This one didn't really need much of anything. I think I ran it across the glossy side of this once or twice. Yeah, this one's maybe a little bit scratchy on the upstrokes. Yeah, better. This is very nice now. So that's good. And the Tuzu, this one was doing all the skipping. So I ran the braid sheet through the tines and just ran it across the sandpaper just to make sure there wasn't any baby's bottom or anything like that. That is really nice in reverse. So just like the Shikiori, just a hard start right there. But other than that, it feels pretty good. Yep. So I'm happy with these as they stand. Again, I may have to tweak some ink in some of them, but for the most part, I'm pleased with the way they've turned out here. Maybe a little bit of tweaking here and there, but they're much better than they were. And hopefully I'll get more use out of these. Like these two have no issues being used, but the rest of these I haven't used very much. As much as I love the looks of these and that one. I really do need to use more. The only other Sailor pen that I want is the Grail pen, the Kinga pen. And I definitely know I'll probably get that in a medium or maybe even a broad. I do have another pen with the Sailor nib, and that's my Cross. What is that? Cross Peerless 125. It has a Sailor Zoom nib. But no issues with that nib. I didn't decide to show that. I've showed that in that currently inked here and there. But that's the only other Sailor nib that I have other than these. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. Just my experience with Sailor. Just really wanted to give them their due and give them a little bit more attention, because it's really kind of crazy to have these nice pens just sitting around, especially these three. So I'm going to keep writing with them. If I need to do a follow-up, I will. But for now, thank you all for watching. Let me know what your experience with Sailor has been. Do you find the feedback not so to your liking, or do you actually like it? Let me know down in the comments. I appreciate you all, and I will catch you next time. Take care.